Dope.
Yeah, I'm making the show the end of the trip instead of the beginning of the trip, so that I'm not like
leave with like a fun.
And like every time I see people like, oh man, I was gonna go to the nah. If you want to come to the show, yeah. You
gotta see. If you want to see me before I leave, you gotta come to the show. That's a good way to get people.
Show, yeah.
We're rolling, so whenever you guys are ready, you can just take it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to put the headphones on? You don't want to put the headphones on?
I feel like I always get a little like antsy, but I don't want nobody being like, look at him not participating with Rob.
No, you good. You could, if you don't want to like
no
go into the do. No. You could.
Yeah, you know how that is. You should pull him off line forward, backward. Okay, no, we good.
Just so you can hear my randomness.
Oh yeah, really that's right. Okay,
point,
Yeah, we got it.
Welcome back to the Inconsistent Podcast with Rob Haze.
Oh.
We got Alex English in the building.
What Detroit artist is this? Because this is Detroit rap.
BFB the Pac-Man and Sada Baby.
Okay, I know who Sada Baby is, so I'm not 100% out of the loop.
Detroit has such a distinct sound in how they, what they're doing these days.
It distinct being like offbeat.
I would never say. I don't think I'm allowed to say it, but
okay, I can say it for you on behalf of the 313.
I like it. Though.
It's catchy. They make a lot of, but it starts to sound like. Here's the thing. It starts to sound, and this you can say this about a lot of hip hop. I guess right now, a lot of it is sort of blending into the same sound, and people don't. Is this supposed to be playing the whole time?
No.
Because I can see
it feels like a radio show.
Are we talking under a soundtrack? Yeah. Decided maybe call you and put in a favor. I grew up obviously around. I think a lot of people who aren't from Detroit wouldn't know immediately is that a lot of the sound of Detroit, the style that you hear, these are all children of an artist called Blade Icewood.
Blade Icewood.
Okay. He died years ago. I think I had to be like in middle or high school when he died. And he was like the original sound of like what you hear the Sada Babies and the T Grizzlies and all of that. Like it's this sort of offbeat but like very twangy hip hop.
Yeah. I'm not familiar.
There you go. And once you hear him get into his flow, you can kind of see where the rest of Detroit artists today, they were influenced a lot by him.
Wow, okay.
He exists. He certainly existed around like Royce the 5'9", Eminem. I would imagine that they came up around the same time, but he was still very local. Blade Icewood was very local. And I feel like people from like the South kind of got into him a little bit too.
Okay,
because what I know, and I mean this is Atlanta to Detroit speaking.
Yeah,
I remember like when Black Planet was out, Black MySpace for those who are unfamiliar.
Yeah.
When I heard a lot of Southern rap from Southern people's Black Planet pages. And I think the exchange there was that Midwestern music, deep cut, local Detroit, or like Royce the 5'9", all of those, like those groups, those squads, y'all received some of that too.
Okay, you had a good computer. You could hear the music.
I mean, we had Microsoft Windows 98, yeah.
Okay, all right, Windows 98.
Yeah, Blade Icewood is definitely Blade Icewood is like when you hear those guys, you're hearing Blade. I think if anybody wants to come after me for that, I mean, tell me who your influences were then. If it wasn't Blade Icewood.
All right. That's all. I don't know the tree. I know the old school tree. I know like Motown and like Smokey Robinson and Diana Ross and Aretha Franklin.
And now we have Cash Doll.
Yeah. Now y'all have Cash Doll. I'm just finding out Cash Doll is my age. I thought
we are the same age, so yeah.
I thought Cash Doll was older than us.
Oh, so you must be referring to that video that went around of her like having a show somewhere and like somebody from her high school.
She
attended Henry Ford High School.
Yeah, she was like, I was 07.
And she straight up said it. Yeah, I was 07 too, so I didn't know that she and I were the same year.
Okay, all right.
But has there been like heavy speculation on her age?
There has been, but then whenever somebody like denies it and says, no, I'm not that age, I'm not going to say my age.
Her industry age.
Which is nothing to her. It feels like, okay, this is a bit.
I feel like she hasn't been hiding it though.
She hasn't been hiding it.
But she hasn't been open.
But I think that she has a presence that like feels like, okay, she's grown.
Yeah.
Cashy Doll has always felt grown.
Yeah, music, I feel like the music industry is very like, listen, you want to appeal to young people because young people are buying tickets to shows. Young people are, the style, especially the style of rap that Cash, exists in is certainly young,
Yeah.
But I think that's just like innately hip hop when it's like, yeah, she is making rap for like women who have at least, gone through some, caught a nigga in bed with another woman. You know what I mean? Like, these young girls ain't really experiencing stuff like that. So I think Cash is like elevated thought music. It's like, I've had some jobs, I've worked in some bars, I've driven Uber, like women with experience, but still young. Which is like 36 years old. Yeah. You've lived a little bit, you probably had some kids. She has two. No, is she actively pregnant?
I don't know. Last time I saw a video recently, like I feel like this week, she had on a pink mink and she was holding her chain and she was like, she was doing a diss record to some girl and it was like, this is hard.
Listen, she will always let you know that she's from Detroit. I don't know. Aesthetically, it's like very much clear where she's from. And I honestly, she came out of nowhere to me because it's not like I remember, it's not like she was rapping, or at least to my knowledge, that she was rapping while we were in high school.
Right.
Like, because I can remember, like, I remember when Big Sean first started. Like, I remember when Sean, like, Club Blue on Woodward Avenue. I remember 2000, I remember when he drove to the radio station to meet up with Kanye. Like, I remember as it was happening live, like, the freestyle he did for him outside of it, because Kanye was in Detroit visiting the radio station, and I remember everybody talking about it. Yes. I remember when Sean put out his very first mixtape, and going to the club and hanging out, going to parties, he used to pass that shit out. You would walk out and his mixtape would be like on the ground in the parking lot. People would just toss that shit. Like,
that's crazy.
I remember that type of shit. And to see him now, and him and Cash, I think, have collaborated before too.
Okay.
But it's like, it's different when it's like, oh, you came out. That would be, I think it's the same as like, oh, me leaving Detroit or me pursuing a career that I didn't start doing in high school. So now everybody that I know from Detroit, like, I go back and they're like, wait, you went to school where? Like, yeah, it's kind of out of nowhere. Whereas it's homegrown from Sean. He came up in the scene. Right. Me and Cash had to like leave Detroit to go figure out what we wanted to do. And one of us is obviously more successful than the other. But
I don't know which one you're speaking of. You killing it.
Killing myself. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You came a long way. I remember when I met you.
I forget how we met.
We met in Boston. Tawanda put together a show, and I had just got to New York. I knew Tawanda from doing festivals and stuff.
Yeah,
but he put together these two shows, Blacknificence.
Yeah, Blacknificence. I remember it was me, it was you,
that
Ray
was Steiny, Sam J.
I met Sam that night too. Yeah. Oh wow, a lot of first time meetings happening there. Yeah,
and I remember you were so funny. I remember you said you got off the train. You had on some royal ones. And you was crushing it, and I was like, oh man, this guy is hilarious. And I'm like, but I'm also new to the city, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna like meet so many funny people when I get to New York. Like, it was exciting. It was like I didn't, there's all these black comics that I don't know.
Yeah.
What else is out there? But like somebody like you that I've seen do comedy, at a bar, at a laundromat.
It's been like whatever, 10 years.
You know what I'm saying? And now, you know, you're on all the official things, you're doing all the stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's dope to see. Like,
thank you. Same to you, friend.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy? When we met during that show, I distinctly remember traveling to that show. It was the Megabus, first of all.
Okay.
I was slumming it. Because I was also living, like, double lives. Like, at that moment, I remember distinctly, like, packing my book bag that had my work clothes. Because I had just quit, like, serving like, a barista job, like, in the city to work like a full-time 9 to 5 in an office, and it was the worst year of like my life. Even though I was doing it because I made that switch because I started getting more people asking me to do shows, and I'm like, well, I can't be working in restaurants those kind of hours, and stand-up don't link up. And while the money's better in a bar or like a coffee shop situation, it's quicker to make. It's like I need to have a schedule, to conducive. I need my nights free. So I do remember. That had to be like a Friday, I think that show was, because
I think it was a Friday.
I distinctly remember like packing like a stand, because I had to wear like a suit and tie to that job, so I had to like pack up like stand up clothes so that I could just like get changed and get on and make my bus on time so I could get up to Boston to meet up with y'all. And I remember doing that show, and Tawanda coming up to me being like, "Bro, there's like a table full of niggas that I know for a fact don't like gay niggas," and they came up to me. He said they came up to him and was like, "Bro, we don't fuck with that shit, but we fuck with him." I was like, I'm here. I've been trying to say this to people. I'm like, my comedy is here to transform people.
Yeah.
Particularly black men who would never want to talk to me for a second. Yeah. But then it opens up. That's happened to me a lot, actually. Like, over the course of my time doing stand-up, is that I'll get that comment being like, I don't fuck with gay dudes, but I can hang with you, bro. I'm like, right. Which I'm like, should I feel safe in this encounter?
I feel like that's a thing that I run into all the time is people like, man, you don't seem like a comedian. You don't seem like you got the personality to be a comedian, blah, blah, blah.
You get that?
In life. Yeah. In like regular life, like, sometimes,
what do people think you do?
Rent a car, stuff, they, like they're just small talk. They'll just be like, you don't seem like a comedian.
Wait, so you tell people you do stand up? Because I'm still out here lying. I'm like, I've been on TV, but I'm like,
I have comedy in my work email. Sometimes that sparks
conversation.
A conversation that I don't want to have.
Like when you're trying to like rent an apartment and that's your email that you use. You don't have like a comedy email and like a personal email?
I do, but like when I'm renting a car, checking in a hotel, stuff like that, that's like for business, it goes to my comedy.
Even when I was at SNL and people would ask me what I do, I just be like, I work at NBC.
Well, yeah, of course. You're not going to tell
I don't feel like having that conversation.
Because they're going to pull out a sketch packet. And it's like,
or even worse, you tell somebody you do stand-up and it's the classic question, well, can you tell me a joke? And I'm like, I just don't even feel like shutting you down right now.
Right. But sometimes, like, there's been times where I've checked in and it's like, there's a designated hotel for comedians. So they're like, oh, you're the comedian. Dang, you don't seem like it. But I feel like
you ain't made me laugh yet. I'm checking in.
Part of the appeal about comedy for me is like, yes, I might not always be the life of the party, but that's why I'm attracted to this thing where I have a microphone. Yeah. If I'm the only one with the microphone, it's a little different. And so by you having a microphone now, you are people who would never have a conversation with you for whatever prejudices or whatever. They're forced to listen to you.
And
then also see your perspective. Yeah. Also laugh with you. Yeah. And that's big.
Yeah. I haven't had much time to like really like. I feel like I've like everybody else in my life outside of stand up has kind of like has like theorized like what we do, and I still have yet to come to a place where I'm like, I feel like I'm doing like this big important grand thing whereas others, you have people that like that in your life, your family, other friends who aren't in stand-up telling you like, dude, you have no idea how much guts it takes to do that. And I'm like, I guess I don't think about how much it takes to actually get up in front of people, 200 people, and like just be like, I have something to say. Shut up and listen.
Go watch somebody give a speech that got to.
That has to.
Like, go watch a city council meeting. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Anywhere where people like.
Would you get nervous when you first started?
I didn't present nerves. I was nervous, but I was like showing confidence.
I guess I got nervous when it felt like an important show. Like when I first did the Knitting Factory, I used to be like, I've seen people bomb here, and I do not need that to be me.
Right.
So I get quiet when I'm nervous. Like I don't really want anybody talking to me, and I'm not talking to nobody because this is a big deal, and I don't want to I want to think about everything I'm saying.
I guess nervous until the first laugh.
Yeah.
Once I crack them, then I'm way less nervous.
Also, the bigger the audiences you do, the less nerves you have going up in front of any. I feel like that goes away once you get larger numbers. Once you go up in front of larger numbers of people, I think.
Plus, like I needed a little survivors. You know, like I feel like when I started, there was some times where I felt like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this. And then that would inform the nerves. Mm-hmm. And then after a while, it was like, all right, people passing me up. I got a chip on my shoulder.
Yes.
Now it's like beyond nerves. Yes. Now it's like, yo, I'm about to wreck a hole.
Like if this motherfucker's getting laughs, I know my shit. Sometimes you gotta be fueled by intense feelings of envy. It's a natural human reaction and pettiness.
Yeah.
And just being like, talking shit in your head. Like, I know this motherfucker not better than me.
Right. And like there's a negative stripe. There's a envious stripe that I feel like people try not to paint with in LA.
Oh, really?
And
because that's kind of like the thing that's been attached to. So you think people are in LA are trying to erase?
Oh, it's there, but they don't verbalize.
They're trying to avoid association to being that type of person. Yeah. Whereas New York is just
New York is
open
just like, yo, but at least you gonna know what side everybody is on. There's no fake. Oh man, yo.
Here's my question though, when it comes to LA. I've obviously hung out with you and hung out with others there.
Yeah.
Where it does also just, I just feel like there are less moments of people convening and coming together and like.
And that's part of it.
So where would you, unless you're talking shit over the phone.
Okay, so,
people go to houses and talk shit.
A little bit. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of that. But then, even though comedy is very separated, like, some of the relationships you build are not. So sometimes life things will bring people from different scenes and different schools of thought together, or like, the Christmas parties and or opportunity, there's a big audition, there's a big show, there's a big showcase. Now they've pulled one person from here, one person from there. They don't even agree on how to do it. They don't even agree on what you're supposed to be doing up there. And now they're all in a shared space. I think that's when stuff kind of comes to like, all right.
Yeah. And when you're black, it can be more focused too, because if I'm pretty sure that there have been a number of auditions that I've gotten that you've also read for. Whenever I get an audition, I always ask like the same 7 niggas. Did you read for this too? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Right. No, that's me and Jordan all the time.
You and Jordan? It's me and Devin. It's me and Jay Jordan. I know. Okay. It's especially Jay.
Yeah.
Jay and I both have like linked up and been like, so did you get confused for me? Like, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, no, it's funny when you get
a new problem though for us, I feel
and then I'm like, yo, I got this call back, and then I'll tell Jordan, and then he'll be like, man, they just asked me to read this thing for the first time. It's like, all right, well.
They still figuring out if the character gay.
He already in the second round.
I have read a couple of things where I'm like, this character was not supposed to be gay, but they're like, I'm over here like, well, he gonna have to make a change in his life if
if it's not specifically in the script, then have you been watching Severance?
I It's so crazy that you are asking me this because I just started binging it like over the last week.
Okay,
I finally caught up yesterday.
Where are you?
I finally caught up yesterday. I'm all caught up.
You caught up with everybody.
Oh, I'm caught up on everybody's thing right now. It's mess.
Because I feel like people have been speculating about Seth and like his sexuality, but I feel like
I think he's asexual. Which is a sexuality.
That is that's a possibility. Like I haven't seen anything that lends where he is in the show, you know.
Okay, question. Would you call Seth a coon? Is he a sellout? These are the thoughts that I had.
I think that
I feel like he has the proclivity for coonness.
I think yes, sure, and I think that's the vibe I was definitely getting season one. You know,
but now we see
as it goes on, after he got that painting. And then it's like, and then he goes to old girl, you know, old
she's like,
still looking
the board
girl.
is listening.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, you know, and I really love how that show makes me think about things that have happened and jobs that I've had, even though it's so abstract. It's so abstract, but it makes me think about like every corporate experience that I've ever had. Yeah.
They still haven't put my boy's name on the computer yet.
Right. Right.
My boy still can't get this scrolling name on the computer. At some point, he just shut it off.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, what are his duties besides overseeing the floor? Like, when he says, I have things to do, I'm busy, is it just putting paper clips on? Like, that show really does, like, display the kind of nothingness that corporate atmosphere is. It's just numbers and shapes and meetings about what, and we don't know what this company does. Which ultimately, like, I've heard my boyfriend like having meetings on Zoom for work, and I'm like, what the fuck were y'all just talking about?
Right. Or there's like people at your job, and you're like, I don't really know what they do.
Yeah.
You know, or
and
like,
even when they tell you, you're like, okay, can you slow down and explain that to me like I'm 5? Because I still don't get it.
But like even in television, when you get in a writer's room, there's, you know who the head writer is, and then you're just playing a guessing game with everybody else's title. Like everybody's agent is fighting for what their title is. You know, but there's no like, okay, this person's a script supervisor, and this person's this, and this person's that. It's just like...
And I get script supervising. Make sure ain't no typos. Make sure the punctuation's on point. But, I mean, I've been working in television now for like 7 years, and I'm like, what is a producer?
Right. And it's a gray area.
Like, they wield so much power, and ideally, I'm like, in my own project, I'd be the producer, but even you would have to tell me, what is my role here? Just to like say yes and no to a thing?
Yeah. I feel like producer is something you gotta pull out like in an argument. You know, it's like, well, why should I even listen to you? I'm a producer on the show,
on this project. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, that is true. You are getting another check. You are getting another
It's a check on top of a check. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But SNL, I feel like you get to be a mini director and producer.
You do. You get to produce. I mean, that's how I got my answer as to what a producer actually does, because you do. Because like, you spend the beginning of your time there, you know, kind of just being like, oh man, they're not picking my stuff. I don't know, like if they like my stuff here, is it funny? You spend your time worried about that, and then one random week will happen where you got some heat, and they pick it, and then you start getting emails. What's up with the wigs? How the stage look? And you like, oh shit! Like, I wasn't ready for like that onslaught of communication once they're on board with an idea. If it takes you a while to get an idea on there, you can be a little overwhelmed and need help with like, okay, who do I go talk to? What department is this? Where do I go? And then after a certain while, after it becomes consistent, you like, okay, let me go holler at Tom. Let me go holler at, Jody. Let me, you can become more familiar. But it does make you, it's like school. It really is. It's just cliche at this point. But it is like going to school in a very specific way of like, this is not how the business works traditionally, because no other show works like this show does, but it does spoil you in a way. And I haven't experienced this yet because I have yet to have a job outside of that since I left. But a lot of people have told me that when you go to other shows and work on other projects, that people will say to you something like, oh, well, I don't know if we can do that. And you're like, no. I've seen them remake Kamala Harris's suit from a debate merely 12 hours after the fact.
Yeah.
We have a month to make this show. This can happen.
Right. No, I've experienced a lot of I don't think we could do that. Mm-hmm. And then, getting to work for people who are under that SNL tree, you do see like that different side where they're like, no, we gonna make this happen.
And quick too. We can do it fast.
Who we need to call then? Yeah. All right, you can't make it happen. We'll make calls to somebody who can and figure it out. And it's like,
and also just, in a way, it also just it's just like it. You can't be precious with stuff. So even if like you have to make it, that place forces you to make a decision fast.
Right.
Like, either we can do this or not, cut it, replace it, punch it up, do something. So even with my own writing, like stand up and like script writing, like writing pilots and stuff, I'm like, why am I editing this right now? I'm just put the idea down and move on. Like don't go back. Just keep moving. Just write, send it out, and this will all be changed and can be changed later. So, yeah, it just turns you into like a little bit of a machine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially with my stand-up. Because now I'm like, get rid of that. Shorten that. We get to the punch. Like, because you listen to your stuff on your tapes. Do you listen to yourself?
I do listen to myself.
I'm glad to hear that.
It took me like maybe 8 years before I started listening to myself.
Really? I've been listening to myself since I started.
But now that ever since I started listening to myself, I want to say in the last 5-6 years, I have grown exponentially.
Listen, so do you listen to the bombs also, or do you listen to the kills?
The bombs is where you
where you find it.
That's where you find all the seams and stuff.
Yes, but I listen to both equally because I feel like if you're listening, first of all, I've had conversations about this with people, and I've gotten a different answer. They've been like, "Oh no, I don't listen to myself." I'm like, "Well, then why are you filming yourself? Why are you recording yourself if you're not watching for progress?"
Right.
And I'm like, listen to those kills, because like instinctively you'll be like, "Nah, if I say that the same way consistently each time and it gets the same reaction, that is how I'm supposed to be telling this joke." Obviously.
Right.
But if some shit is bombing and a number of times you just like, why am I saying this again? Why am I still like, I give stuff like 3 or 4 times, because 3 times is like, all right, the audience could be different, the size of the audience could be different, the vibe could be different. There could be a number of reasons. We've all had things crush, and then in another room that shit eats.
Right.
And it's like, well, this audience is wrong because I've had 20 other audiences telling me that this is right. So,
and sometimes it's just how you present stuff. Like sometimes I'll listen and I'll be like, okay, this bombs, but clearly I was saying this for a reason. Clearly I found a point in saying this. So I need to figure out how to achieve that in a funnier way.
Yeah, that's where I've had to go with a recent bit I'm doing about bringing the F slur back. And it's just saying it. It's shocking. Yeah. But finding the reason, like you said, finding the reason to bring.
Like you want to bring it back, or are you saying that like it's on its way back? We have to deal with it
as like an acceptable term to use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm just like, the world is crazy. Everybody's saying whatever the hell they want now. So why? Let's just bring words back.
It's so funny. I can't remember who I was listening to. I was listening to somebody from the late 90s, and they said it. And I remember, like, I never flinched before hearing it, But then I was like, oh, Eminem got a lot of flack. But he's
still standing.
He was speaking the language of everybody in hip-hop at that time. It's just, he was reaching audiences that felt differently about that word.
Angsty, so like, black and white boys.
yeah. But like I'm saying, like now everybody feels that.
Well, you know what it is? It's that word in particular is. I feel like there's a reclamation happening, very much in the way that nigga has been, has long been our thing of like, well, we're taking it back.
Right.
So now I guess that's the capacity that it's in. But I don't, it doesn't. I guess,
a word can only stop you so
we need
far.
to get rid of queer, if
Justin Bieber said the N-word, it really didn't impact his career. Kendrick Lamar did the Super Bowl. We heard Mr. Morale.
What were your thoughts? We did hear Mr. Morale. Do you have Kendrick thoughts?
Do I have Kendrick thoughts?
The Super Bowl was so long ago now at this point, but
I mean, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that the show was almost about how he was going. It was very meta about like how he should play the show. Also, everyone that's saying, "Oh, he should have did the hits." It's like, why? So he could be bigger.
He also doesn't like to do.
He doesn't want to be bigger.
In his music.
You're the only one that wants to be famous. Like to me, you do the hits so that you could do something. He's not coming back to the Super Bowl.
You do the hits at your concert. Not
you do the hits at your concert,
not at the Super Bowl, where you're like fully displaying the work that he just put out. That would be crazy to not promote that music. He just made
right. And I think the response and everything that he's getting, he's setting it up for the Super Bowl to make a pivot less towards legacy and more towards current.
Well, here's the pivot.
Who's hot right now?
Here's the pivot.
Who's doing the stuff that they care about the most right now?
I listen. I don't think I'm alone in this thought though. When it comes to the Super Bowl, I think let's give the whites their Super Bowl again. Or give America their Super Bowl again.
Yeah.
Like, we've had a lot of black, like, Jay-Z being around, I know. But, like, Jay-Z, okay, next Super Bowl, bring LeAnn Rimes or something. We haven't had white people headlining the Super Bowl in a while. And I think we need that. I think we need, like, Coldplay. Because, like,
get Billie Eilish and Phineas.
Come on. Like, we're being greedy now with it. You know what I mean? I think we're being. I get it. We've long had this history.
Them for what they did to Janet Jackson.
Colin Kaepernick. Actually, that's been. I feel like that's the thing that made the NFL be like, oh, we gotta like make sure black people ain't divesting from our product. And like we are a long stretch away from that now. We got black quarterbacks. We got black coaches. Jay-Z is in charge of the Super Bowl.
Right.
We need to give them Jelly Roll.
But see, I think Jay-Z remembers that when after Janet Jackson happened, then there were like The Who, Paul McCartney, Bruce Springsteen. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Like Prince was the first nigga after a minute. Sure. And Prince was out there doing the Foo Fighters in the rain. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
He didn't even go full Prince. Yeah. You know,
they couldn't even give him Purple Rain.
Right.
It was regular rain.
He did Purple Rain in the rain.
Then he sang it, but the rain was
you know what I'm saying? Like Prince got a whole catalog, triple albums, all kind of Prince music he could have did. He out there doing, "You're giving the best of you."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You're right, but I think a great deal of time has been spent now. Like Kendrick having a bunch of niggas be the flag is like, all right. I think we've reached critical mass right now with like the message has been sent.
Yeah,
I think we should like give it to Cher. Let Cher have like a return.
If Cher want to do it, I mean,
that would be iconic.
But
then they would be like, "Oh, the Super Bowl is going gay, and we don't need that happening."
If I could turn
back time. I saw her at the Radio City special that they did for SNL the weekend, and when I tell you, that was crazy to see her like in person.
I would freak out.
She feels like somebody I just was never ever going to experience live or like,
right.
And I just when it happened, because I knew she'd be there because the lineup they had already said.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I kind of like stopped thinking about it after a certain point, and she was towards the end. And when she got up there, I was like, she's just like larger than life.
Yeah.
And I just truly was like, I thought you were purely animatronic. And I like a real person at all, just a person designed for TV.
I mean, like when she got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I know it was so many people that like hated on her for years and just can't even like say nothing because the longevity, you know, what can you say? Cher been around since the 60s.
And I mean, it was like the first beard. Like the first open beard. Are you aware of this lore? Of this?
No.
Do you know about David Geffen?
A little bit.
He's like he's the
Geffen Records. Right?
Geffen Records, and I think he's one of the movie studios. I think also I forget which movie studio he's like They had a.
I feel like
he's a billionaire. He has
him.
all of the money. He has yachts on yachts on yachts.
Okay.
But back in the day, he used to date Cher, and was like, I think Cher was just like, yeah, he's gay, but I love him. So they were like in a. I don't think they were ever married, but they were like in a romance. I watched his documentary, and I was shocked at like what I learned, and I was like, but you know somebody's badass when like the first person you hear or that shows up in your documentary is Barack Obama.
Right.
That was like the voiceover for the first like 5 minutes of it, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's flexing.
I thought you were about to rock my world about Sonny Bono, and I was have to reevaluate.
No, he wasn't gay, but his behavior was gay. But yeah, he treated her so bad.
He did?
He like took all of her money, and like the only thing she had left was like her name and like her catalog. But like he like took all of the money that they made together, and then like they broke up or whatever. He was horrible to her. But then Cher was like, that's why her and Tina Turner were like so tight. Because the same thing sort of happened to Cher, to Tina, even though Tina was like abused physically.
Right.
So yeah, they became tight. That was her homegirl. But yeah, that's so yeah, that's my gay moment for the pod. Yeah, I love it when I get to educate.
I mean, the Super Bowl's in San Fran next year. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah,
they're trying to drive some money to that city because have you been to San Fran lately?
It's been scary. A minute.
It's scary over there.
Yeah?
I was there 2 years ago.
I think I was there 2 years ago.
You know a city is crazy when they tell you, when you ask where to go and people tell you to go to the black neighborhood. Everybody's like, go to Oakland because ain't nothing over here.
Well, when I was there, Andrew Yang was at the comedy club doing like a freaking book tour or whatever, and I was like, yo, this is so backwards. This is crazy. They really got Andrew Yang like at the comedy club doing talks or whatever,
doing fireside chats.
Yeah. Did you ever see that video of him, or were you there when he brought up Chappelle at the stand?
No, but I heard about that.
He's like jumping up and down. He's so excited.
Just like, and this is a man who was vying for the presidency, like such a star fucker. We can't have star fuckers in the White House. Well, we actually have one right now, personally.
But act like you've been there. Yeah, how you gonna be the president? This man ran for president, then ran for mayor of New York.
Yeah.
He just keeps going.
You didn't see Pete Buttigieg showing up on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Right. And if he did, he wouldn't be starstruck. Mayor Pete would probably be cool.
I love him.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. Mayor Pete. I'm a big fan of him because, come on now, air horns for Mayor Pete. That's the first time that ever happened, ever. We just made history for Pete. Let me tell you something. Mayor Pete was the gay guy that we needed. He was the gay candidate that we needed. Like, we are never going. I need people, especially gay people, because I feel like a lot of gay guys were giving him like a hard time because he's not like your cookie cutter gay dude. He's like suit and tie, went to the fucking military and all that shit. And it's like, that's who we need to represent us, because America's not gonna vote for a flamboyant. My fellow Americans, we're not getting that. Okay, we gotta do this. We gotta go. That's not happening in front of the 200 years, okay? That will never happen.
Right,
you know how I know Pete was the shit? During that particular election, my mama was considering voting for him. And I was like, you still haven't fully accepted that I'm gay. But you want a gay motherfucker to run your country? That's crazy. That's progress. So that's how I knew. I gotta look up Pete. And also, what's crazy now, even presently, is like, even during Biden's administration, was like, you would turn on Fox News, and he's like one of the few, like, he's one of the small handful of Democrats that show up on Fox News consistently when the phone rings to defend some piece of legislation or to debate some sort of thing that's happening. And when I tell you, Pete be in his gay bag on Fox News, because he goes off. He be like, this is where actually Fox News is where he becomes the gayest, honestly. Because they'll start saying all type of wild shit to him, and he'll just be like, no, you're wrong, and here's the facts of why you're wrong. But he does it in such a like roundabout way that goes over their head, and that's where you're like, oh, you are an F-slur. There he is. Because he reads them for filth on Fox News. And that's where you got to do it.
How do you feel when people say that word on stage that aren't gay?
It truly doesn't bother me. I guess I've been numb to it because I got called it. as in high school and in middle school, and it's not. It just goes through me. You know what I mean? I don't really. No word that I've ever been called has. It's the same as like when white people say "nigga" to me. Have I ever been called it by a white person? Maybe. I can't recall any like real moment that's happened. But I just become so, especially now these days, I'm so unaffected by what anybody says, because I'm like, ultimately, what are you gonna do? You know, certainly yelling at them isn't gonna change their mind about not using it. If anything, they're gonna be like, well, then, yeah, this is who I thought he was. So I just kind of let people, especially on stage too, because I think comedy wise, I'm like, bro, the biggest insult somebody on stage can get is that shit bombing. So say nigga on stage, say the F word on stage. If you're not getting a laugh, I'm sitting there like,
when
that's
I started,
crazy. Was it worth it?
That's when the like Louis C.K.'s Sons was out, you know, like everybody was trying to sound like Louis, and there was people that like would show a black T-shirt on, and they trying to be Louis, and,
a little uniform.
And so since Louis said the N-word, they feel like they could say the N-word.
Oh, and he said it in front of Chris. He said it in front of Rock. Is that what you're talking about? That video?
But they were referencing him saying that.
The big. I forgot. Yeah, the big. He did it.
Yeah. And so he did say it in front of Chris Rock. That came out like first 1 or 2 years of me doing stand up. So like, that was like, you know, that was heavy in the comedy streets for sure. Yeah. But you know, it's
hard for me to be mad at Louis about anything though, because I just feel like I grew up on his stand up. Like me and my dad used to watch Louis, his sitcom. Remember that sitcom he had on HBO?
I remember Lucky Louie.
Yeah. And that was one of the first times where I saw like a 3-camera TV show in front of a live studio audience, like go crazy. It was dirty. It was like, wow.
They were speaking dirty, but also it looked dirty.
Yeah. So I've always been bought into like what he's.
Yeah, it was spray painted on the wall in one episode, and there wasn't no big controversy or nothing. They were way more worried about them cursing around their kid.
But I feel like that was like that's what made it so like on the ground and like real. It's like, he lived in a shitty apartment, right? He had a shitty job. His friends were like shitty dudes, and this was like, let's bring that type of comedy back,
right? It is amazing that like nobody at HBO was like, let's try it again. Let's try another multicam that's just like what
is it? Fucking Married with Children.
Yeah,
I was going to say All My Children, which is literally a soap opera.
That's why I like Children.
They all but cursed. They all but cursed. But I've been watching clips of that show again, and I'm like, you know, these days that script, and I'm not saying this in the typical manner of like, oh, you couldn't get away with these jokes these days. Literally, you couldn't get away with writing scripts like that now, because it's just every character, every other line is just like someone insulting the other character. And I've literally gotten notes back on stuff that I've written, being like, oh, we don't want to make this character too mean or too unlikable. And it's like, that's the funny thing. Yeah. You're getting away from the fact that these people insult one another, and that's the point of that everybody has something to like hit each other with, and that was what like Married with Children was. Everybody had a snarky comment for each other. Yeah, I'm just like, bring the '90s back, bro.
Had his pants unbuckled, you know what I'm saying? Pulled his pants down to audition, you know what I'm saying? Just like it's a different time, you know what I'm saying?
It's a different time, but I feel like it's life and culture is cyclical, and at one point we're gonna hit a point where it's like we need people burping and farting and slapping their kids on TV again, and it's coming.
Yeah, is that what you're rooting for?
I'm rooting for more irreverence.
Yeah,
irreverence is real, because that's this. You know, a lot of sitcoms out right now is painting. It's this real, like, you know, everybody is all done up. Everybody's beautiful on TV right now.
Yeah,
we're going back to like a classic, like how even on TV everybody, like I get in movies, but like TV now everybody's like all dressed in like my ideal sitcom, like. My character, he got one outfit. This nigga is truly live action Doug Funny. He got one outfit, and that's what he's known for. And he's a regular dude, and he ain't shit. That's truly what I'm writing right now. He's bad.
That's what tripped me out about Power. Power, they'll go like, let me put a Fendi shirt on to go kill people. And it's like, why would you do that?
It's real. The whole Power, I guess, saga? Or the whole, what do you call it? Just a franchise.
Yeah.
Is stunning to me. It's stunning to me, because I've never seen a second of Power. I just haven't.
You've never seen a second of Power?
I feel like if I weren't living in New York, if I was still living in Detroit, I would have seen every single episode of Power. But I think
probably
leaving Detroit made me kind of watch less TV, and just my taste for television is different. Everybody back home, all of my family members, my mom, my dad, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, friends from back home, high school friends. When I get on Facebook to search and stalk people and see from my past, everybody's making posts about, did y'all see Raising Kanan? Ain't no way he should be acting like that. And everybody has the language. Everybody is like, and it's really stunning to me that it makes me realize, black TV still to this day isn't they should be winning. That show should be winning so many awards.
Raising Kanan is excellent.
I'm a member of the Emmy Voting Academy, and even though I
because everybody that eligible don't do what is necessary.
I pay that little
membership fee.
I pay that little membership fee, but you know what? Even though I've never seen the show or don't really have, I make sure to click the box for it because. And it's not on some just this is a black show, and I'm doing that. But also, it's because I can recognize that this TV is good TV because all of my people that I know fuck with it. And I don't have to watch it to know that it's very popular and very well received by the black community. But white people don't watch that shit unless the white people that live in inner cities that are surrounded around black people and kind of immersed in that. Eminem, you know what I mean? Eminem's watching Power. I know that. I'm sure that's true. Yeah. But I came.
He's mad that Tommy one got canceled. He's like, yo,
see, that's a name I hear. That's a name I hear all the time. I couldn't tell you what that man does. But it's funny because I have I feel like I've talked to you about my affiliation. Distant affiliation. Because 50 Cent made BMF, which is, Black Mafia family, the drug ring out of Detroit. And my dad...
That came to Atlanta.
My dad was associated with BMF. He was, very tight with Big Meech.
Okay.
So, Big Meech is back out on the streets.
Yeah.
That is, that Detroit is, all the buzz right now because of that. There's a lot of... It's very polarizing, him being out on the streets right now.
But he hasn't been to Michigan, right?
He hasn't been... What you mean?
Big Meech.
What you mean? I think he's been locked up outside of Michigan, but he's back in Detroit.
Oh, really?
I believe so. Unless he's in Atlanta or something like that. I couldn't imagine any other city outside of Detroit or Atlanta that he'd be living right now.
Miami?
Maybe, but I don't even think that. I think that's a tall... That's a tall order to get him to Miami. I don't know. I don't know where he is presently, but I know he's out.
He was supposed to do that show in Florida. I don't know what happened, and then 50 Cent... hey, it wasn't me, but it was supposed to be some kind of concert.
I have no
Baby
idea.
And Boosie and all these people.
You be on the Shade Room more than me, obviously, because I have no idea.
I live in the Shade Room.
It's crazy though because when BMF came out, my dad, my biological father, who went to prison for selling drugs when I was 2 with BMF. My dad, a year or two ago, when they were developing the BMF story, they were using some of my dad's story they were reaching out to him for consulting on the project. And my dad
was he a 50 boy?
Who?
Your dad?
No, a 50 who? 50?
Well, no, there was one group they had the 50 boys. I don't know if they made it for the TV show.
I don't think that. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that is the case. My dad and my uncle, his brother, were the ones kind of got brought into the fold.
Basically, the 50 boys gets absolved. Them and another gang become BMF.
No. This was just my dad and my uncle who kind of joined.
Okay.
Who started, and they would go to Chicago. They would go to other cities and sell across state lines, just like that. All of that shit. But my dad, knowing that I work in TV, started calling me out of nowhere, being like, "Hey, can you tell me how this works?" I'm like, bro, I can't even I can't even process the fact that your story is getting ready to be put on TV. Meanwhile, I'm on script 3 trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. The shit you're talking about is the reason why my life was all fucked up. And you want me to glamorize this shit? I was like, so it's so funny too because so the show comes out and not too long ago I went on, because I still haven't watched whatever the depiction of my dad's story. I still haven't watched it because I'm just like,
one of the funniest disclaimers in television history, where they're like, some of the names have been changed, this is a work of fiction, and then the last sentence is, but some of this shit really happened.
I'm glad. And Rob, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that segues right into what I was getting ready to say. So when it came out, apparently my dad had some sort of like he was a little displeased by some of the events. I don't think he saw the disclaimer.
Okay.
Or he saw the disclaimer and just didn't know what the words were. Because when I tell you my dad is doing like a couple like hood like video YouTube pages, and he's conducting interviews with like some old white man, some old street white dude who like is familiar with Detroit drug
street lore. DJ Vlad,
something like that. It's
wait. Oh, is it the dude that goes to different hoods? What's
all
his
I
name?
know, Rob?
The Buckingham.
I don't know.
Dude?
I don't know the name on top of my head. But Rob, all I can tell you is that this nigga is poorly lit in a barbershop. Bad microphone. The microphones aren't great. And this guy is like asking my dad a bunch of questions, and my dad is like barely able to get through any sort of story. Meanwhile, he's like trying to tell you, well, they didn't get this right. The truth is that this happened. And people are in the comments eating my father up. Like, being like, bro, it's literally said in the beginning of the show that these are based loosely on a real thing, but some of these are fiction. The concept of TV, it ain't really hitting. And so I feel so bad because I read those comments. I'm like, they are dragging my real father to hell.
I mean, I got to arguing with this lady because there was one episode they went to Jack the Rapper, and all the rappers just look like caricatures of themselves, And this lady was going back and forth with me, and I was like, this is probably the costume lady from the show. like defending every choice, And it's like, it's like there are pictures from Jack the Rapper. Like you could see what Kid Play looked like at that time. You could see what Tupac looked like.
Yeah.
And then she was like, yeah, but like for people to understand, blah blah blah. And it's just like, I don't know. If you say this is Tupac, people gonna be like, oh, that.
Right.
Listen to the show, that's Tupac.
But the things that my dad were trying to clarify, it's like these are things that nobody gives a fuck about when it comes to this. You're trying to iron out all these details that you can barely remember because it was 30 years ago. Like, so just let the show be.
The doc that they did?
Okay, so I did see that, and I texted my mom because I think there's a photo of my mom in a photo, and her face was blurred out, and I was like, Ma, was that you? And she was like, yes. My mom hates the fact that that was all happening. She was like, it was like such a dangerous and weird time for, like, I say it all the time. I'm like, thank God for the war on drugs. It really got that man out of our house. And like, I'm like, look, I know Reagan, controversial president, but he really helped us out because he was not supposed to be in our house. I'm sorry. Everybody be like, oh, you need a dad in the house. I did not need that nigga in the house. Every just because a dad is present don't mean it's good. I'm just saying. But, he served his time and now he's out here living, promoting parties in Detroit. Man. My dad got out of prison and just became a full party promoter. I'm like, go ahead, promoting the lounge.
Okay.
Like, go ahead. All right. Go ahead, sir.
Do you have a pair of buffs?
I used to, but I recently saw that people. I had to. My mom, when I had a pair, my mom was like, "You're not wearing," because people used to get robbed.
Yeah,
and like not even just like gunpoint, like snatched off, like punched, snatched off the face.
Okay,
that's how they used to get down.
You got to be precise to snatch them off without messing them up.
But then it's like you're taking a big risk doing that too, because a lot of times people wear fake Cartier glasses, fake books, like a lot.
We used to get fake
Atlanta,
from Atlanta from the beauty supply store.
Yeah, that's where you go get them. And sometimes they look just as real as the actual ones.
And they have the little wood. you know, and it turns or whatever. That's all we cared about.
There was a time where people were getting their Yeezys snatched and their Jordans snatched off their feet.
Okay.
And now it's like if you're beating up somebody for a pair of Jordans, what?
I just saw this old man with some like green bean fives, legs crossed, sitting on the side of the street, like on the way here, and I was just like, man, 15 years ago that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Now it's not even. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't purchased a pair of Jordans in
years. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's not. I think it's not. I think Jordans will always be a part of the culture and in the style and like in fashion.
Yeah.
But I think it's become so everybody has a pair of Jordans, so it doesn't even really feel special.
It don't feel the same. No, it don't. You know, yeah. I remember when I first started doing comedy, I would wear J's some places, and people would be like, "Man, be careful on them things." You know, like, "Oh, you got money."
Yeah,
you got, you know, like,
it was a status symbol, and now it's like everybody's out here rocking it.
Everybody.
I'm waiting on like you know, LeBron tried. I had a pair of LeBron sneakers like early on when I was living in New York, but nobody really checking for him like that. I'm like, who's going to be the next athlete that has like a big shoe? You know, we had Big Baller Brand.
I think Anthony Edwards, although they chilling on him. His first shoe came out last season, and are they
fly?
Them. But yeah, they're dope. People are wearing them in the street.
Big Baller Brand. Isn't that crazy? What happened to LeBron Ball?
Yeah.
What was it? Was it diabetes?
They didn't say.
That was so random.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. You can't. Right. That's the kind of guy. It's like to me. I'm talking to God. I'm like, come on, bro. That's a character. You gonna take his foot. Right. We need LeVar Ball on both feet, dog.
Yeah. But ain't no telling. You know, help Steph. I don't know. I don't know what they take your feet for.
But but it's also like, how did that happen? Because like. That motherfucker! I used to watch his Facebook TV show, his Facebook show.
I didn't watch too much on Facebook.
And that motherfucker ate milk for breakfast, and lunch and dinner. He had milk all the time. So I'm like, it couldn't have been his bones.
Okay,
that couldn't have been the case.
But yeah, you know, you gotta do more than milk.
You gotta do. You got to do more than milk.
You got to do more than milk, I guess.
I didn't know I was going to hear today.
That's a good start. You know, you got the calcium, but you got to,
I feel like that's indicative. That sentence is indicative of like a larger point also. You got to do more than drink your milk.
You got to do more than drink your milk.
Yeah.
Alex, what's your favorite color sky?
Golden hour.
Golden hour.
When it's like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, when the sun is coming down, that orange, pink, like sort of like that's the best. If I wish I could live in a place where it looks like that all the time.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
I don't want daylight. I don't want nighttime. I want dusk, sun settling, just like that.
Okay. That's a big hit. That's a big hit.
Do you get that question often? Do you get that answer often from that?
I get that answer often.
It's a beautiful time during the day.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people that like other stuff, but yeah. No,
what are some other ones you've gotten?
Some people just say blue, like that's the only answer.
That really, I mean...
When they say blue, it's with an attitude, too, like blue.
Are you asking me what color the sky is? Like I'm stupid, right? Like, no, it changes colors, yeah. I don't love it. Like how it was orange here last year.
Okay.
That was
We had an orange sky as well.
Y'all had a lot. Y'all had a lot going on. Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot y'all had an orange sky.
We had an orange because like it was from whatever fires were passing through. I was still walking around like that shit wouldn't affected me. Yeah. I probably got something.
They told us to wear a mask outside
during the fires.
But then during COVID, they told us to wear a mask inside. So it's just like
we don't know what the fuck to do ever.
Right.
And now we got to get ready for another pandemic.
Something's gonna get in my lungs eventually.
Now we got to get ready for it because you know what's gonna happen again.
What?
We about to get sick again. What you think it's gonna be? Measles?
I don't know.
It's gonna be something.
I don't know.
I remember telling people I don't remember getting sick when President Obama was in office.
Right. And the CDC was in Atlanta. I remember when the Ebola
having a fever.
They brought him to the city, and we was looking like, bro, take Buddy somewhere else. Why you gotta come here? I truly
don't remember being ill during either of his terms. I remember just being in like a clean bill of health. Here comes Trump. Real. Now I got COVID.
Even Bush. I don't remember no. You know what I'm saying? H1N1, SARS, all that was going on, but they got it together. They got it contained.
What side of the Bush, recognition, societal recognition are you on? Is it still fuck Bush, or is it like? Because there's been a turnaround with people, the perception of Bush. Like right now, he's kind of like a lovable guy, and I gotta say, I'm kind of on the other side of it. I'm like, you know what? He was a terrible president, but look at him. He's like an old grandpa. He's painting.
I think
he's getting candy from Michelle Obama. I'm like, I love this switch in the perception.
I think that Bush operate. I think that a lot of stuff was going on around Bush, and he empowered some people that was with some bullshit. But I do feel like Bush operated in the confines of the office and tradition and the status quo, and that's something that we could look back on and be like, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you look at the Rumsfelds and you look at the Dick Cheneys and some of the stuff that was going on, and it's like, that wasn't the greatest. But at the same time, Bush wasn't the person that we were making him out to be. But
he wasn't egregious.
He wasn't egregious
in the way that, like, presently there's just like his focus isn't on bathrooms and athletes. It's like real shit that people care about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Trump is like trying to take money away from people if they don't.
Right.
If they let girls play basketball with boys.
But I think what happened is we let Trump come back. So he had all this time where he's finding out what his powers were, what his limitations were, what he could have done, what he and then we let somebody who wasn't in the office come back to the office, which is nuts, because now we're seeing, oh, this is what that second term would have looked like. Well, this looks crazy.
But that's why I'm like, and this is gonna sound weird, but like I'm like unaffected in a way that's bad. I know it's gonna be bad to a lot of people, but like I don't know about you. I'll come across a headline now and I'll be like, yeah, of course that's happening. Like I truly, because of what I know from his first term, I'm like not checked out the way I know people. But I'm also not. I'm not processing it and applying it and like making it stress me out. I'm not giving. I've been saying I'm not giving this nigga any more of my hairline.
I mean,
you are not gonna stress me out, because I truly think Donald Trump wants everybody to be as ugly on the outside as he is. That he wants to stress us out. He wants us to lose hair. He wants our skin to be fucked up. I'm not gonna he's not taking that. He's not taking my youth from me. Like what's left of it, and that's what I think he's trying to do ultimately.
I think people suffered from from so much apathy before.
Yeah.
And that's how we ended up in the boat that we were in with the two old guys.
That's fair.
And I feel like people need to wake up and pay attention and not wait until every 4 years to pay attention. Mm-hmm. It's like a lot of people were like, we can't depend on the Democratic Party. We need other parties. These other parties need to start showing up and showing out now.
Yeah.
So that, if we're going to change this two-party system, it's gotta start ASAP.
I think if we're going to get a woman in office, she got to be Republican, unfortunately. That's going to have to happen.
Right.
We've tried.
And
we've tried to get a woman.
We've tried, huh? It'd still be a woman.
It'd still be a woman.
Not a woman that's
trying to usurp male power.
Yeah, I'm doing everything that these men are doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that
I need you to be a woman running for office, and if you're conservative, sure, but let abortion happen.
Right.
Stop it, lady. Let the ladies have that. Still be on the side of what's good for the majority of the women in this country.
Yeah. I mean,
if not all,
you could be small government and outside of women's bodies. They go together.
They actually go together. Yeah,
that actually makes
but
sense.
But I do believe that, because I think right now, just the way the country is towards women, the way just in general, I think the hill is much taller for a Democratic woman to climb,
right,
than there would be for a woman who's like pro-gun, because there is a difference between this conservative party and the crazies, and we can easily identify the crazies, and I was like, we don't need MTG, running for office. That's dangerous for everybody. But a conservative woman, black, white, whoever, who's like speaking to the points that a lot of like right-wing people want to hear, like, don't take my guns away, keep some sort of order, keep out of my, stay out of my personal affairs.
Right.
But also, truly being bipartisan is like, I don't think we're ever going to see that. Because all this shit is too deeply rooted. It's like we have to dig up so much
of
shit in the past.
This country has a type.
And it is.
And unfortunately, we be trying to go against type. The country Biden won just because he the country's type.
This is actually the gayest country, when you think about it. This is the gayest country.
Because country like a straight white man.
It's crazy. We could have had a baddie in office right now.
You gotta be tall. You gotta be able to throw a baseball.
Bro.
You gotta be tall. You gotta be able to throw a baseball. Okay? We gotta feel like you can open a beer. You got to be able to roll up your sleeves.
But you had to be attractive too. Remember that.
Right.
So if that's the case, what the fuck is going on with America? That's because a lot of people were like, you had to be there was a level of like, on TV all the time.
Military or lawyer.
This country wants to be in the airport, look up at the TV and see that ugly motherfucker. You don't want to see a baddie with a good bust down.
That's the thing.
With a good swoop.
Something happened, and people was like, if you rich, you could get around all of that. So they like, let the rich guy in, cause he don't gotta be bad. He rich. That's really what it is. The country got flued out. You know what I'm saying?
$1,200 4 years ago. Got flued out. Oh my god, that shit was stressing me out. Especially when niggas would be like, he gave us money. It's like, bro, how broke are you that $1,200 is moving the needle? Also, what did you spend that on?
This our money. He ain't give us his money.
And you have to pay that back.
It's our money. It's not like, we found some gold in another country and we gonna split it with y'all. No.
Nothing was stressing me out
we
more.
In debt.
Nothing was in debt. And he did not give y'all that money. Also.
Right. And it wasn't his idea. He held it up to put his signature on, but from a branding perspective, it worked because people was like, he gave us the money.
He knows how to market.
Right.
He knows how to market.
Well,
you know what my biggest thing with him too is, like, it was truly the okie doke. And I think you would even argue, you would say that you would feel the same way. It's like, Trump never became evil to me until he started running for politics. Because when he got into politics was when it was like all this evil shit he kept saying. But when we were younger, Trump was just like the rich, goofy white dude that was on Fresh Prince or showed up on wrestling, The Apprentice. So, and I mean, that's how you got a lot of people, I think, just by being a figure on TV.
Right.
And so, when we were growing up, I wasn't watching CNN, so I wasn't seeing all of those interviews that he was doing about, CNN would consistently, in like the 90s, go to him, or in the early 2000s, go to him for like his opinion on politics. And it's like, why are y'all asking this bloated real estate, this weird real estate dude about politics, if not to position him as a political figure? And,
when he was going back and forth with Rosie O'Donnell, I don't even remember what they was beefing about.
They just hated each other. She hated him. I think her beef with him was that at the time, there's a famous The View like clip of her being like, I can't believe this dude is the moral standard. Because at the time, he was running the Miss Universe pageant, and like there was this one Miss Universe pageant. I think the winner, he was threatening to strip her of her crown because she did something in the public that was like seemed to be unfavorable or distasteful or something like that.
This is blurry about.
And he was like, he made her like go on this apology tour. You know, saying Donald Trump. I would like to thank Donald Trump for giving me another chance. Mr. Trump is like, I did a wrong thing. And Rosie O'Donnell got on the mic and was like, "This is the moral authority. Like, you have like multiple kids out of wedlock. Bankrupt. Like, you're gonna make a 21-year-old girl apologize for what being a person." She really just could not get with that. So I think that's where the beef. She got on the mic. She got on The View talking shit, which I'll never be upset by somebody talking shit on national television.
Facts. Well, Alex, anything you got to promote? Anything you want to tell the people?
When it's coming out. It's that's so tacky to ask that. I feel like every podcast I hear people try to promote something, they be like, "When is this coming out?" That depends on when I can. Yeah.
Should be like March 6th. Like,
that's great. That's great. So between March 7th and the 11th, I'll be in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
For South by Southwest.
Hey.
So if you're in Austin, come see one of my shows at the comedy festival of South by Southwest.
Also, March 6th, make sure y'all watch Lil Kev on BET Plus. Especially
you right on that?
Second episode. Yeah.
Yes. Come on, WGA. Is this more? Who is this? Is this more Detroit?
This is the theme song for PMF.
You see how much I don't know?
Thanks so much, Alex. I appreciate it.
Of course, dog. Did it. Oh, yeah, look at that. It did what we said it was going to do.
All right, we're cut.
You banking episodes over here?
Yeah, banking episodes.
Who else you talking to?
I'm going to have Petey.
Of course.
Nico.
I wish you would have been here for